Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really fun video in store for you guys today. I am hoping that it all goes well. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, so what we're gonna do today is one palette but two different looks. So basically I'm going to do one look on one eye and a second look on the other eye, so it might look crazy at the end of this video, but I kind of had this idea come to mind because there's so many eyeshadow palettes out there and they're constantly coming out, and I feel like, you know, you see one or two looks done with them, but then that's it. You never see them again. You never see a beauty YouTuber use that palette ever again. So I figured, why not just do one eye, one look to show you, give you a little tutorial on that, and then do my other eye with another look. I figured one eye is gonna be like a more everyday kind of vibe, and then my other eye will be more of a glam look. And we're just gonna use one palette. So that's what we're gonna do today in this video. Be sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I upload every Friday at 3 p.m. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications every time I upload, and let's go ahead and hop right on in. So I already have my base makeup on. Besides lipstick, everything else base is on. And so today the eyeshadow palette that I have picked is the So Jaded. It is the Colourpop Kathleen Lights times Colourpop palette here. Just very well loved. I love this palette so much. I picked it for a reason because there's so many things that you can do with this particular palette because there's just a huge shade range. I mean, you have your neutrals, you have some cool tones, you have some warm tones, you also have some color. You just have everything in this palette, and I love it. I love it so much. So that's a palette that we will use today. So I'm going to zoom you guys in on my face, and then that way you can see more of the eye look. All right, so I will start off with we're gonna start off first with the everyday look. One of my favorite shades in this palette, and that's probably the shade that I will use to start this everyday look here, is Rose Quartz. Boom, boom. It is this guy right here, Rose Quartz. It's just such a good neutral everyday shade, not too warm, not too cool. It's just one of my favorites. Sometimes I use this shade just by its own every day. but today we'll do a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead, dip right into my Rose Quartz shade here using my Morphe R37 blending brush. We're gonna go ahead and place her right on in to right above that my natural crease, kind of right below my brow bone. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply that shadow all the way across. Just using windshield wiper motions here. And I'll like to feather it out a little bit as I come out to the outer corner of my eye. Then I'll do little circular motions. Really take your time to blend. Because it's like an everyday look, I don't want to go too insane here with my outer corner eye. So I'm just going to take the very, very smallest amount. This is the shade Jasper. Right here, Jasper. Very small amount. There is so much pigment. I think I took too much, so I'll just dab a little bit on the back of my hand if I think I took too much, just to get a little bit of that pigment off. And now what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead into that outer corner of the eye and start to lay that down where we want it. Keeping it a little bit lower than our transition shade, but just packing it on first here. Oh, and I'm using a Morphe brush. This one's not numbered. It is not numbered. Whoopsies. So once I kind of feel like I have what I want down, then I'll start blending more towards the middle of my eye with this color. Again, keeping it a little bit lower than that transition shade. And just kind of taking it into that middle part of my eye. I'm not going all the way to my inner corner of my eye. And then again, just feathering it out. Just like that. I don't want it too smoky. I just want like a nice wash of color there. Awesome. And then I will also go ahead and take back into my R37 brush. I'm not putting any more of that rose quartz shade on there, and actually I might just go ahead and swizzle it around on the back of my hand, make sure there's really no more pigment left on it, eyeshadow, and then I'm just going to go ahead and blend a little bit more here. Make sure those two colors, those two shades are really blended together. So once we kind of feel like that is nice and blended together, I am now just going to go ahead in with a shimmer shade. Now you can by all means skip this part and not do a shimmer. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's keep it matte. Let's just keep that shade matte, shall we? I will go ahead and we're gonna do My Precious. It's like a matte bone shade. This will be on the center of our eye, and I'm taking a flat brush. This is the Laura Lee Los Angeles L17 brush. We're gonna dip into My Precious. This is gonna be our like lid shade, okay? There's no shimmers in this. It's just a matte kind of bone white shade. I will start by applying it. Let me get my mirror here. I'm gonna apply right in the center there. And I'm just gonna I'm packing this shade on to my eye. And we're gonna take it up into my crease. And we're gonna make kind of like a cut, kind of like a cut crease situation here. And I'm just like really taking my time, following that natural curve of my eye. I love this brush for this sort of application because it's small enough and it's round, so I can really be precise with where I want the shadow. Then once I kind of get more to the outer edge of my eye, I'm just going to gently kind of marry those colors together. Back to my Morphe brush, back into that Jasper shade. Just a little bit, guys. Just a wee little bit. I barely dipped in. And I'm just going to bring back just a little bit of that definition that we lost, and I'm going to blend those edges together. So next I'm going to go back into my R37 brush again and blend one more time. This is the brush that we used for the rose quartz, our transition shade. Let's go ahead and do under the eye. Literally will be the same thing here. Pretty much we're gonna mimic what we did on our upper lid, top lid, do it on the bottom. So going back into rose quartz, I'm just using the same R37 brush for this, dipping back into that. And we're gonna go ahead and start buffing that all along the lower lash line. Just all the way across from outer to inner part of the eye. And I'm bringing it down kind of where my eye socket ends. And we're just buffing and blending that down. And I'm going to connect the upper and lower together as well. Just like that. Now we'll take that Morphe brush that we used for Jasper. Again, just a little dab. And I'm going to pinch the brush. So we have it on the edge of the brush here. And then this is what I'm going to keep closer to my bottom lashes, and I'm only gonna take this about halfway. Whoops, sorry guys. I'm gonna take this about halfway there. And then remember to connect the bottom and the lower. And that is what we have so far for our everyday look side using the Kathleen Lights Colourpop So Jaded palette. Even though it's an everyday look, I still like to do an inner corner highlight and a brow bone. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Laura Lee Los Angeles L16 brush, and I will go ahead and dip right on into Pearl right there. I use this inner corner shade all the time. I love it. So we're gonna go ahead, pack that right in that inner corner there, and then we'll blend. Make sure you're blending into that matte white shade. And then brow bone just a little bit there. And then if I added too much, I'll just go back in and kind of pat it a little bit. All right, I will add mascara at the end. So let's go ahead onto our other eye now and do the more glam look. We're gonna go ahead and use this shade called Amtrine. It is, whoops, this right here. We got this shade right here. That is going to be our transition shade for the glam side of our look. I think I'm saying it right, I don't know, but it's like a purple. It's not fully black. There's a little bit of, looks like little really fine milled glitter in there, but very sparingly, like there's not a lot. So it will probably show up more matte on the eye, and you probably won't see too much of the glitter. So I'm gonna go ahead back in with our R37 brush with Morphe. Okay, get that transition shade right on the brush here, and pretty much do the same thing that I did on this eye, and we'll just go ahead and apply it right above the crease as our transition shade, right under that brow bone. So same thing, I'm kind of just laying it down initially, just like that. And then once we kind of have it mapped out where we want that shade, we will then go ahead and blend. These shades are actually turning up a little bit darker on camera than what they really are. So I want to keep that in mind, but we're gonna do windshield wiper motions here. There's a lot of payoff in this palette. Lots of pigment in these shadows, which is great. I'm gonna do something a little bit different with this shade than what we did with the Rose Quartz transition shade on this eye. I'm going to kind of start creating that V, and I'm gonna start packing this right along my outer corner. And I kind of like to flick up. So I'm creating that V shape here on that outer corner. Pack it down and then kind of flick to blend. We're gonna blend it out to kind of create that nice elongated look to the eye there. Really taking the time here to blend, making sure everything will look seamless. That's kind of the idea. Windshield wiper movements, circles, whatever you're feeling to kind of get it blended. Just do it. Pretty happy with how that's looking at the moment. You know, we can always go back in, do a little bit more blending if need be. So transition shade is down. We're gonna go ahead and move into a darker shade now. Next shade that we'll use for more of that outer corner part of our eye is going to be Garnet. It is next to the Amtrine shade. It is this little guy here. It's like a nice deep purpley brown kind of shade. And I'm using this on the Laura Lee Los Angeles L19 brush. And I have that packed on kind of like tip in one side of the brush there, okay? I tap off the extra and actually might pat a little bit off because again, these are pretty pigmented. And from here, what I like to do, grab a different mirror. Okay, so with this, what I'm going to do is pack it down on that outer portion of my eye. Again, keeping it lower than our transition shade, but this will help to kind of deepen things up, and then kind of go along my lower lash line just a little bit. And just like that. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that, just a dab, literally just dabbing right back in, and pack it down a little bit more. And once I kind of like where I am at with my placement and the shadow pigment, I will now start bringing it over more into the center portion of my eye, and then just blending it in. So we want most of that pigment on the outer edge of the eye, most of that pigment there, but we want to make sure everything looks nice and blended. So we're going to keep kind of bringing it in towards the middle. And again, I'm gonna go back in with that R37, and I'll just blend that outer edge a little bit and right on along the brow bone. Very light hand here. And then if I want a little bit more, I think I want to make it just a little deeper here. We will do that. Perfect. All right. I'm liking where we're going with this, guys. Next up, we are definitely going to use a shimmer shade for the glam look here. I think I'm gonna use the Smoky Quartz right there. Smoky Quartz. I'm gonna take my ring finger. I'm gonna wipe it off first, actually. I like to use my finger for applying shimmer shades. I feel that you get the best payoff with a shimmer shade when you use your finger. So we're gonna go ahead and start tapping that, packing it on the lid. And I always like to start in the center, and I'll start taking it towards that inner corner part of my eye. Okay. And then get a little bit more here. Again, pack it down in that center, kind of lower along those lashes. And then let's now take it towards the outer. And I'm just doing patting motions. And I'll also go up to my brow bone to really blend those shades in together. All right, so want to bring back a little bit of definition that we lost there again. So I'm going back into that garnet color, and let's bring back a little bit of that definition that we lost by applying that shimmer shade, and really blend those two together as well. Now, we gotta get that lower lash line done. So I'm going back into our transition shade, what is it? The Amtrine? I don't know. I think I'm saying it right. So same thing that we did on this eye, I'm taking that transition shade, but we're buffing it all along that lower lash line from outer corner to inner corner, kind of bringing this a little bit lower and connecting bottom to top, really smoking it out. When you're a little bit more glam, don't be afraid to smoke it out. Now let's go ahead back in with that deeper outer corner shade, Garnet, and lightly tap it, tap off the excess. This we're gonna keep much closer to the lower lash line, keep it tighter. Again, I have to look down for this, kind of really staying tight, only taking about halfway center part of your eye. Next, I want to take that shimmer shade now, and again, mimicking what we did on the upper part of our eye, we want to do on the lower part. So I'm gonna take this Morphe brush. It's a very, there we go. It's a very kind of, that's better, right? Like small, flat, rounded brush. And I will actually wet my brush. If I can find my setting spray. This will help also for that payoff of a shimmer versus just applying the shimmer straight on, just dry. You can do that too, but this will kind of help with the fallout if that is an issue. So again, doing what we did on upper, I'm gonna do on the bottom, and I'm gonna start right on that outer corner or inner corner part of my eye, keeping it close to my lash line. And I'm going to go ahead and connect that deeper shade that we have on the lower outer corner to the shimmer. And then I think I will go back with the brush we used for that deeper shade here, kind of blend together. And then now it is time for our inner corner and our brow bone. So I actually think I will probably use the same color that I use for corner highlight and brow bone highlight on the everyday look. And that again is Pearl. Right there. Pearl. And then grab my mirror. Apply that right on the inner corner. Connect to the bottom and the upper. Okay, just a little bit for that brow bone. And then I might even take right on the very tip of this brush, I'm going to follow that inner crease of my eye and highlight that with this highlight color. So just really making a nice line going about halfway to my eye. Then we assess the situation, and if you feel like you might need a little bit more blending, by all means, go for it. So I think I will go for it. I'm going to blend just a little bit more, make sure we're all seamless here. Okay, that's what we got. I am gonna go ahead and apply mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, so here's the final look. Wanted to bring you in a nice kind of window here so that you can really see the detail in each eye and have the same amount of lighting to really get the full effect of what we did here. Here is the more everyday look, okay? More everyday. And then here is our more glam. The main difference is I can tell you that makes an everyday versus a glam look is definitely the colors that you choose, the shades that you choose. More deeper colors are definitely going to be more of a glam kind of look. So we chose the deeper purples over here on this side versus here more neutrals, lighter shades of neutrals. Also didn't really use any shimmers here on this side except for inner corner and brow bone highlight. You can, and I do, use shimmers for everyday looks. You can definitely do that. Just like a nice neutral shimmer, like a champagne color kind of shimmer would have been really nice here as well. Just kind of wanted to give you a matte look. And over here we used tons of like shimmer, you know, like we picked a really nice shimmer to go on our all over our lid, and then we did that shimmer inner corner highlight and inner crease highlight as well as brow bone highlight, and we also brought the shimmer down on the lower lash line as well. And then the third biggest thing I think between everyday and glam look is it's much more smoky. We're more blown out, a much more smokier eye. Then over here we kept it pretty tight to the eye, kind of more to my natural shape of my eye, and didn't really smoke it out too much. So yeah, so this is the look. Everyday, glam, using the So Jaded palette by Kathleen and Colourpop. And if there's other palettes that you would love to see kind of two looks with, an everyday and a glam look with, drop it down below. Let me know if you have any palettes in mind, because this is a series I definitely want to continue doing. And I would love your suggestions, your ideas of what you want to see as far as all of that goes. But I think that's all for us today, guys. I hope you like the looks. I hope you learned some stuff. Maybe follow along with one of these looks if you have this palette, or you can always use similar shades as well. And yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit that ring notification for every time I upload every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until my next video, guys, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.